And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
You Robot is another one of those small games from Asmodee, basically just a deck of cards that you're playing. It's a game that sounds really fun when you hear the concept, and the concept is that one player is a robot and the other player is using controls to get that robot to move. Then when you read through the rules and you look at how the cards work, you think, man, it just doesn't seem as much fun. And when you play it with adults, it really kind of tanks. But when I played it with teenagers, they had a blast. And I brought some other games that I thought were superior games in one of the game sessions we played, and every single kid voted that You Robot was the best game that they had played there. Let's look at it. To play the game, players are split up into groups of two. These two players are teams. One of them will be the crazy teacher. The other player will be the robot. All the teachers will look at a card drawn from a pile of cards. These cards show robots in different positions. The color of the robot shows how difficult that robot is. For example, the green robot there, the position he's in with the cell phone on his ear, that's an easy one. While this one, the one smacking his butt, is red. That would be hard. The ones in between, for example, this yellow one would be easier, while the red one again is hard, doing push-ups. And you can see that there's different positions for each of the robots. Some of them are easier to get people to do, and other of them are harder. So once everyone has agreed on one, then players, all the teachers get ready, and then they go. What they're going to be doing is they can do one of two things. They can either tap a card, basically you're pushing a button to make the robot work, or they can move a card around. Now this is the card you'll be seeing the most of, and this is the robot card itself. And you might point to a specific part on the robot, or you might want to use the limb of the robot yourself to show a certain part of the limb. Then once you've done that, you can also use this arrow. You can move the arrow to show them what direction to go. You can tap the arrow and stuff. You cannot, use the arrow to actually point towards the person. You are saying, for example, hand, and now move your hand up. Or on the hand itself, maybe that finger, move that finger over. And there's different things. You can also use the other side of this card, which shows to rotate, and rotate it in different ways. This card here, you can also, tap this card to show that you need to interact with some kind of object. And then the card over here is what you hit when you want the person to just think, come on! You should have, when we play, it's very funny how some people really got into it and were just tapping this card because they thought their robot was really stupid for not following their instructions. Once one team has gotten 5 cards, they are the winners, and that's the end of the game. Or you can play with odd number of players. There's just different ways to play, and you could just play it as even a party game. Pick 2 people. One person gets the other person to do the actions, and everyone else sits around and laughs at them. Now, there is a degree of silliness to this game. If you don't like silliness, you're certainly not going to be pleased with it. And every time I play it with adults, for some reason it falls flat, and I think a lot of it is these cards themselves are not specific enough that it drives people crazy. Kids don't care, because they'll sit there and they will just laugh and laugh at how stupid the other person acts. And, it's not that big of a deal to them. Adults seem to want a little bit more, and maybe they just don't have enough fun to enjoy the game. It's silly, but it's, again, really funny. And for me, I don't even have to play the game to get a kick out of it. I just love watching it and watch the contortions that people put themselves into, and their teachers get really frustrated with them trying, I want you to raise your left hand, but they can't say that. They can only point to the cards, and that's where the idea of the fun is. So if you're looking for a fun party game that especially teenagers or youth are going to enjoy, then I would definitely recommend You Robot. Everyone else, it really depends on your personality.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.